Testing.
Okay. All right, great. So we are live here at Wilmington University. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to everyone that's joining us here online. We are excited to be joined today by a student panel. These are current students, and I'm actually going to hand it over to them. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Patrick, and I work in student recruiting, and we're so happy to have you here with us today. Whether you're in person or whether you're online, we hope that you learn a little bit more about us and what it's like to be a WilmU Wildcat. So I will introduce our panel here. I'll start with Shirley.
Hello, my name is Shirley. I'm here in cybersecurity.
Hi, my name is Malia, and I'm here in the Applied Family Science program.
Hello, everybody. My name is Giovanni, and I'm an MBA student with a concentration in marketing management, and I'm from Italy.
Hey everyone, my name's Emily Navarrete. I'm a law, policy, and political science major. I have a concentration in government and public policy and a certificate in emotional intelligence and leadership.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. We're going to go through a series of questions that we compiled and asked prospective students to submit through our social media platforms online, some questions that we've taken previously, and some questions that I'm just going to jump right in so that maybe we could learn a little bit what it's like to go to school at WilmU. So, Shirley, I'll start with you first, and this will be a question that we'll ask of everyone. Just looking to know a little bit more about why you chose WilmU.
Well, I did initially go ahead and apply to other schools besides WilmU, over a dozen actually. And when I did the financial aid, actually, that's what made me come over to WilmU because it was the most affordable. And it actually had the classes that I was very much interested in. I think that cybersecurity originally was computer and network security, and they changed it to make it more job marketable, the name cybersecurity itself. So that was one of the many reasons I came here.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and you touched on some financial aid and scholarships, and hopefully we'll have a chance to talk a little bit more about that as we go. Okay, so Malia.
So something that drew me to Wilmington University, for those of you that don't know, I was an athlete here. I was on the bowling team, and so I was actually here when the bowling program started. I was looking at a couple of other different schools, and I just remember being really discouraged and upset because I wanted something kind of close to home. I'm originally from the beach. And about a week or so after I visited Delaware State, my head coach, John York, reached out to me through the email, and he was like, "We're starting a program at Wilmington University. I'm really interested in having you here. Are you interested in coming?" And so that was something that really appealed to me, being here and being able to build a program from the ground up and really just watching it flourish, being the first captain of in program history, getting to recruit new students. We actually just got our national rankings back, so we're now nationally ranked number 24 in the nation and number 5 out of all D2 schools in the country, which is something that's so incredible for such a school like this and just being such a young program. We just recently won our first conference tournament, and we went all the way to regionals and did really well there. So we're just being really proud of athletics and academics. I think that Wilmington University does a great job with both.
That's great. And Gio, tell us a little bit about why you chose WilmU.
Absolutely. It's difficult to go after that, right? But I have a very quick story. So after I graduated from a home university, I ended up working as an admissions counselor for 2 years. So I was originally interested in a master's in higher education administration, and that's how I was in contact. I got in contact with one of the deans here, and I immediately fell in love with the community and with how nice everyone was. And because of my visa situation, I ended up switching to my MBA, so my master's in business administration. I thought it opens. There's so many opportunities that students can go into pursuing that program, and yeah, so definitely the community and definitely academics as well.
That's great. And Emily?
So what originally drawn me here was the athletics team. I play for the soccer team. I kind of got the best of both worlds here. I really love learning as well. Our athletic complex is super nice. The turf field is very beautiful. Our athletic trainers are very well. We have a very nice facility. That's what originally drew me here. But then when I was able to visit the campus, I was very excited and appreciative of how welcoming everyone was and how eager they were to see us and help us learn, and that's what really made me want to come here. Just seeing how close knit and tight and how family oriented it was here. I really enjoyed that.
That's great. Yeah, it's so interesting because you all have your own individual, story. So it's great to learn a little bit more about that, and hopefully we can talk a little bit more about some of the learning formats. And so I'm going to ask a question a little bit more towards academics. Looking to know a little bit more about online learning and your experience, like with online learning. Our Canvas platform, which is our online learning platform. If you could talk just a little bit about your experience with the platform, with instructors, anything that you could share about your program as well too.
So currently I am in my first year, undergrad student. I am taking online classes only. They do have different options, hybrid or in class. But one of the things that I really appreciate about online class learning is that I basically can go. It's flexible. If you're working full time, or if you have children, or just through living daily. If you're busy, online learning, you can go ahead and do it according to your schedule. There are due dates that are expected to have assignments be turned in, but other than that, you actually have complete, full range to do whatever it is you need to do. One of the things I will say is that with online learning, they don't leave you in the dust. The teachers there are super supportive. They do have options for students to communicate with each other. If they have any questions, you can kind of interact with them a lot, and just really be a support system for each other. Work on assignments if you need to. So online learning is something that is I really, really like a lot. I may go ahead and dibble and dabble in going in class in person, but for me, online learning has been super successful, especially with the tutoring that they have online as well, if you do need help.
That's great. Emily, I'm sorry.
So I actually started my undergrad doing in-person classes. The idea of being online just frightened me so horribly. So I started, I was on campus for probably 8 hours a day, every day, and then I was working, and then athletics on top of that. It just got to be extremely draining. So when COVID happened, obviously we were transformed completely online, and that was something that just kind of opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, this is really incredible for somebody who is so busy like I am. And so after COVID happened, we had the opportunity to go back in person, and my graduate program, Applied Family Science, is actually only offered online. And regardless of, I think, whether that was offered completely online or not, I was going to stay online, just because with bowling, a rigorous schedule, a workout schedule, working for the university as well as just being so integrated in everything, it's kind of nice to have something that's super self-paced. And like Shirley said, the instructors are really great with making sure that you're not left behind in the dust. They send out weekly announcements, daily announcements, and you also have the opportunity to talk with students also in your class and in your program, which I think is extremely helpful as well.
That's great. Yeah, you make such a great point with, being very busy, and sometimes it's not just work. Sometimes it's family commitments, sometimes it's a number of different things, and trying to do all those things at the same time to have that flexibility. Yeah, that's a really great option. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. How about you, Gio?
So I think Malia and Shirley have already touched upon this, but I think the flexibility plays a major role when we're taking online classes. And specifically for me, like I said, I'm an international student. In the beginning of the pandemic, so specifically this was last semester, the first block was moved online because of the pandemic. So I had to fly home, and I was taking one online class from home. So, and the beauty of it is, let's say the first week opens, the assignments are available. I can do the first week's assignments right away, and I can already begin the second week's assignment. So we have deadlines that are very well defined, and of course we're always in touch with the professor. Professors so far they've been super available, super nice. So that's also that component. And then of course once I was back, and of course now we're slowly getting out of the whole pandemic situation. Now, in-person classes have resumed, and I still think those are the best. I mean, just meeting people with different backgrounds, and the international community that I would like to talk about in a second as well, that I was able to find here. There's just nothing like it. Absolutely loved it.
That's great.
You guys did such a great job. So I really love online classes. All my teammates, they do like hybrid, which is in person and online. Although me, preferably, I like online majority of my classes because of, like they said, how flexible it is. I work full time, multiple clubs, athletics, so it can be a bit challenging, especially when I'm on the road for games and traveling. I'm able to do my work as well. Every time I've reached out to the professors, they've been very understanding, and I always preach to all of my teammates and friends, fellow students, just reach out to your professors, whatever it may be, and as long as you keep in communication with them, online classes are easy. And for me, some of my friends will be a little concerned about online classes because of how much they would be learning. But for me, I'm a researcher, I'm a reader. The online classes we do have in Zoom, which is helpful, but at the same time, they always provide a lot of information, so you can always learn that way as well. I also wanted to touch on, regardless of classes, we also have a lot of opportunities to do other things online, as well as career services, if you need meetings on there, or we also have, if you want to join a club, you can't make it to campus, you could definitely do the clubs virtually as well.
That's great. Yeah, so we talked, about a number of different things here. The first thing I want to go back to, we started with, on online learning and, how that has been. We've done a little bit of that now, phasing that back in, where we've done online and in person. So it's interesting to see, like, we're kind of split between, like, some of us prefer online a little bit more in person. So that's very interesting. Talking about the instructors as well, too. You all kind of touched on that as well. I think that's a really great point as well, because the instructors here are, here to help. So many of them are working professionals as well, working in their fields. So they make themselves, available, which is great, for both in person and online. You also mentioned about, some of the student activities here. A majority of them are offered online as well, too. So that's a really great opportunity for people to participate, even if they can't, be here in person.
Yeah, even if you're in a different country.
Yeah, no, which is great. It's fantastic. But then also talking about some of the things that we do offer here. So even if you were taking classes predominantly online, our games you can come to for free. So that's a great way, even if you want to just come as a spectator. So there's a number of different things that you can do that, switches it up. So we touched on a little bit, and maybe we'll be able to dive into that a little bit more with some of our other questions. But one more thing that I don't know if anyone's taken advantage of. We talk a little bit. You mentioned about career services, which we have here to kind of help you in terms of next steps after you study here. Our Student Success Center is another great student service that we offer here, where they'll help with free tutoring as well, too. So have any of you taken advantage of the Student Success Center?
Yeah, I had the opportunity my sophomore year. I had a statistics class, which was really challenging for me. I was able to go in there and get some help. I remember I was there multiple times throughout the whole semester. There was one day where I spent probably maybe 7 hours in there, and they helped me so much. It's definitely a highlight of my college career, just being able to feel really proud of myself for the work that I did put in. I ended up finishing the class with a 97, which was probably would definitely be impossible without the Student Success Center. So I really love that.
That's great. Yeah. And Gio?
Very quickly, I wonder why everybody has issues with statistics. They should just get rid of it. No, but
no more math.
No more math, right? No, the reason why I said that is because back home I also had to take statistics, and what I always say is I loved statistics so much I took it twice. Right, so I failed the first time. No, the reason why I said it is because I wish we'd had a tutoring center completely free of charge back home. So that's something that definitely I wish I had.
That's a great point. Yeah, the tutoring is free. It's these are all included as part of being a WilmU student. That's a great point.
And then just very quickly, being a graduate student, I think the next step is always career. So even having somebody or knowing that there's somebody somebody available, just via email that I can send my resume to, and they'll take a look at it, edit it, and we can just exchange ideas on what the next steps are. I think there's, like I said, it's very, very useful.
That's great. Yeah, that's actually a really great point. I'll actually jump off of that too to kind of talk about. Go ahead, Emily.
I just wanted to say one more thing. So the Student Success Center, also when you're here and you have classes, it's so awesome. Even if you don't want to do tutoring, just to go in, say you need to print something out before class, you can use the computer there, the printer, whatever it may be. You need a pen, pencil, whatever. Like, they're super helpful there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and it's just a really great thing to help make you better, which is improvement, and just to have an extra set of eyes and to have people that are supporting you and helping you. That's really great. We talked a little bit about mentioning kind of next steps along the way, about like kind of what happens after we leave here, and that's a big part of it. We're preparing. We're here now in the moment, but we're preparing for what comes next as well too. I'm going to ask you a question regarding kind of next steps, but we did talk a little bit about some of the other services that are offered, some of the ones that we haven't talked about yet that I just want to mention. We have a number of different student services. If you need help, that we have on our website and inside of our event platform, so please feel free to check them out. They include, financial aid, where we have representatives to help with that process. We have
Disability help.
Yep, and making this accessible for everybody to come here and have the opportunity. So a number of different services. So I will pivot and kind of go next steps in terms of like what we're thinking. Whether you have it in motion or thinking what's to come, what are you thinking? Will be kind of next steps with what you're studying after your time here at WilmU?
When you say that, you mean like after I leave and graduate here?
Yeah, like what are you hoping to pursue, with your degree, and what are you thinking, in terms of like career and job pathways?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably leaning more towards the governmental department, and when I go into my careers, I absolutely want to go ahead and pursue my master's and get my certificate in Amazon Web Services and cloud computing. But after I do that, I definitely want to go, like I said, into the government. It sounds almost typical, but it's something that is, to me, it's a very secure, it's a solid job. It's also interesting, and you can branch off anywhere. So it's a lot of room for just picking up different skills and learning. I definitely want to go ahead and before I actually get an official job, I want to go into the internships. Handshake is something that's super helpful with that. The Handshake website, they offer, they'll actually send you can go ahead and sign up and subscribe. They'll send you emails to different career services that are available or internships that's offered for you. And speaking of, they will help you with resumes. So that's something, if that's something that really is a concern, that'll get you straight.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And touching on, internships, the work integrated learning, where you can apply your work experience to count as credits. So a number of different things we're touching on. That's great. Malia, how about you?
So I have not quite decided yet what I'm looking to do with my graduate degree afterwards, but I'm leaning towards going towards getting my license to be a marriage and family therapist or working with drugs and alcohol rehabilitation. There are a couple of nonprofits in Wilmington and also around the world that I'm really interested in. There's one, Global Teen Challenge, that just has a really great message and morals, and something that I'm really interested in doing is just helping people using my experience and my knowledge and what I'm doing here, both in the classroom and in athletics and everything else, just using that to be able to help other people. Like you said with Handshake, I've used Handshake before. They actually helped me update my resume, which is what helped me land my job in the admissions department, which is really great for that.
Right, and I mentioned that because we don't want to let that slide by, because you mentioned it before. You're pursuing, academics. You have athletics as well. But Malia might be one of the people that you talk to as you get started here in our admissions department.
I'm literally the first person that you see as soon as you walk in the door. I saw Gio and Emily earlier, so it's like, come in, come see us. There's 2 other women who are in there. We're really great. We'll get you set up. Everybody's super knowledgeable, and that's just the best thing about Wilmington University is everybody is just so willing to help, which is I really think sets us apart from other universities.
Yeah, that's great. How about you, Gio? What are you thinking?
So my situation is a bit different because I thought I had already started a career, and then like I said, I was an admissions counselor, and then the pandemic hit, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me go back and open some books, open some more books. So yeah, and the beauty of it, right? So I'm in a different country, and now my visa, and I've been working very closely with the International Affairs Office here. My visa allows me to work as for the CPT program and then OPT program once I graduate. But we've all mentioned, I mean, Handshake. We've all mentioned LinkedIn, and I think something I would like to say, and I know it doesn't get enough love, which is Delaware. Delaware doesn't get enough love because, and the reason
You
why.
haven't been here very long.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. But the reason why I love it so much, is because we're able, as students, we're able to take advantage of the opportunities in Philadelphia, in D.C., in Baltimore, right? So there's, sure, if we want to drive 2 hours, but there's New York City right there, right? So I feel like we get pretty much everything, and I think that's also the beauty of this area. And Handshake will do that for us, or the Career Services Center is able to help us. As far as I'm concerned, like I said, so business administration, concentration in marketing management. I would like to go into. I was in higher ed. Perhaps I'm obsessed with sports, so perhaps working in marketing for a big NFL, NBA, so I've been looking at that. But also any corporate situation here. I want to take advantage. I still have 2 years left, so I want to take advantage of all the time I have for internships and all that. So whatever my visa allows, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll jump in it.
That's great. How about you, Emily?
I plan on going to law school. I also want to go into either policy analysis or just writing legislation. I have big dreams.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I wish you guys would get a plan and some dreams together. I mean, our panel is made up of some overachievers today.
No, my main goal in my career in life is just to help others, whatever that may be. But for me, more so just doing that through policy work and specifically in healthcare and education. I hope maybe to one day run for Senate, get involved in there, do a lot of community help, nonprofits. Yeah, that direction.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, you know, it's so interesting with the group that we have here today. We have a little bit of everything, you know, from, you know, a tech standpoint, from a clinical, you know, standpoint, from a business standpoint, from a law and public policy, or maybe, you know, other things as well, too, mixed in there. You know, it's just very interesting. And the fact, too, that it's like, you know, this school, from what we've learned about you today so far, that you've had the opportunity to do, you know, all of that as a stepping stone. Yeah. You know, it's setting you up for those next steps. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for, you know, giving us a little more insight. Yeah, Emily?
No, what I wanted to say was that Wilmington University is so helpful with finding your career path. I knew kind of my passion, but I didn't know exactly what direction I wanted to go into. But the advisors here are very helpful, and I even was able to get a certificate to add on to it, so definitely great.
That's great. That's fantastic. I'm going to switch it up a little bit, asking, you know, a question, you know, in terms of, you know, thus far, because I know that we're at different stages in, you know, our career here at WilmU. What has been a highlight or a favorite moment for you thus far? It could be anything. It could be in classes or interacting with, you know, fellow students in the discussion boards, an instructor that made an impact on you. It's kind of a broad question, but just a favorite moment or a highlight for you thus far. And Shirley, I'll start with you.
All right, great. One of the major highlights for me has been honestly just finishing my first semester when I was here, because I did go ahead and take advantage of the tutoring that was available there, and that was something that was a huge first step for me to even like begin one of my goals. So that was huge for me. I was very proud of myself with that. Something else I do want to mention is actually working here in student life, because it is a work study program. So when you do work study program, you're able to get your assignments done as well. So it's super supportive, everyone here working here, when it comes to you getting your work done, and it's very exciting actually, because it is the event center, kind of like what we're having here right now live. So I'm very glad that I came here and chose WilmU. It's been something that has been, I feel very accepted into it, and I really want to get into all the events that they have going on here.
Oh, that's great. How are you, Malia?
I definitely think that one of my favorite moments in the 8,000 years that I've been at Wilmington University as an athlete. Anybody who knows me knows that I've been here for so long. I definitely think that my favorite moment was just our entire postseason and everything that we did in terms of really setting us up and putting Wilmington University on the map in terms of collegiate bowling. We went and we defeated some big names, Adelphi University, Nebraska University, Fairleigh Dickinson University, you name it, we probably have beaten them this season. And just being able to go and travel and do these different things, like going to Long Island and winning the conference tournament for the first time in history and having our family there, getting that live stream and knowing that we have family and staff and friends and students here supporting us and watching us. I can't tell you how many emails and text messages I received from people at the university congratulating us and watching us go forth on to Rochester and doing some amazing things in Rochester. I think that that is just something that will really stick with me forever.
Yeah, absolutely. You've had a great year, like even recently, so much to be proud of. Yeah, that's fantastic. You, Gio?
Why'd you put me in between two excellent student athletes?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing, too. I wish this panel was a little more competitive as well, too.
Okay, so I want to be president of Italy. Is that what? No. But all jokes
We could
aside-
probably make that happen.
Right, so working on it. But all jokes aside, so my highlight has been, and we were talking about it very quickly. I'll go back to Delaware. What's an Italian guy doing in Delaware? My very first MBA class, I walk into the classroom and I see two ladies from Turkey, one lady from Brazil, a student from China, a student from Nigeria. This is something that I wasn't expecting to find at WilmU. So even taking the exact same business class with people with different backgrounds who are sharing their cultures, who are sharing where they're coming from, their experiences in their own countries, there's absolutely nothing like it because we get the American perspective, we get the international perspective, and like I said, this is what global business is all about, and just the global environment is all about. And I know we were talking about athletics, of course, and Emily, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, there are how many nationalities are on the teams, right? So exactly. And now I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's a great point, though. You know, that the school is, very diverse, very inclusive. More than likely, we have something for you. But yes, just even in terms of our student, makeup and population, we have, students from all over. I think at this point, we actually even here in the U.S., we might almost be represented by every single state at this point with our online students. We're pretty close. So it's very interesting, like how diverse, we really are kind of across, the board. So some really great points there.
Yeah, that's like definitely one of my favorite things just about being here is I always tell my friends from other colleges, like, it's so diverse here. It's so nice. So I have a lot of great memories here. One of the ones that do stand out to me was our homecoming event. We have our soccer teams play as well as volleyball inside. We have a bunch of food trucks that come out, alumni, raffles, like you name it, it's there. And it's just like a super great time. The environment when I come into the locker room and there's balloons everywhere, there's music pumping, all the girls are so excited, all their families are here. They use the whole parking lot to get people to come. I had a moment where I scored 2 goals my freshman year, which I was really happy about. And I was just able to celebrate that with my teammates and my family. So that was super awesome. I also wanted to touch on another moment. I kind of just thought of this, but it was in diversity, equity, inclusion, the club I'm in. During earlier in the pandemic when we were dealing with a lot of police brutality and different types of civil rights issues, I was able to connect with other people in that group and just kind of talk about how we were feeling during that time and, relate to each other. And regardless of race, whatever, we were just able to, as humans, talk to each other and really have those uncomfortable conversations. And to me, that definitely stands out to my experience here because I've never been at a place where I was able to, have those conversations and be so welcoming in that aspect. So I really, really, really appreciated that.
That's amazing. And yeah, and first of all, thank you for sharing that, and because, you look at, the nature of that and how that you were able to form a connection with other classmates and also be able to navigate what has been, some, challenging times at points. You all make a really great point, too, where you highlight it, some points, that were a little bit further back when you first started or along the way more recently. I think it's interesting because some of you still have some time here with us. And then for those of you that are moving on relatively soon, we have a pretty active alumni association. So you won't be gone. You'll be back here. You'll be at events. You'll be here with us. And we hope that you will be too, whether it's in person or online, to be back and, support the next, generation of Wildcats as well too. So we're just about at time, believe it or not. This blew by, so quickly. I mean, I can't believe we've been sitting here for a half an hour already. I do want to thank our panel here. I want to thank Shirley, Malia, Gio, Emily for, sharing your experiences, being willing to be, so open and candid. Wishing you all the best, as you are, here and then move forward. Want to thank you for being with us and online. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us, text us. In our event platform, you can chat now, and we'll answer your questions live here with our service departments, our academic community. And thank you. I hope that you have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.